Welcome to Voodoo Whiskey Gaming, and this is my late review of Hades. I played it on the PS5, it's also available on the PS4, Xbox Series, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC. So the story is you play as Zagreus, the son of Hades. That is the Lord of the Dead Hades, and you are, well, stuck in Hades. And when the game kicks off, you are trying to escape Hades, but it's not really explained as to why. But not too long after a few attempts, you do get a little, not really cutscene, but you find out why Zagreus is trying to leave, what his objective is. And, you know, it's actually a fairly simple objective. It makes sense, and I like that it's there. I like that it's the driving force, and I think they do a good job with being fairly minimal. Now, the thing they are not particularly minimal on is the conversations with, you know, a variety of gods who are trying to help you out, as well as Hades and just all the other beings in the underworld. They give you a lot of information, they give you a lot of backstory, they do a good job with that, they help fill in, and, you know, a lot of, like, not necessarily lore, but lore for this world. I say it that way because, you know, it's based on, like, Greek mythology to an extent. But I enjoy it, I think it works well for progressing a game like this. Now let's get into the audio, and the voiceover work in this game is good. I like it. I think all the voices really match the characters, and I think the voice actors did a good job bringing all these different characters to life. As for the sound effects, I think the sound effects are good. I really like the sound effects in this game, actually. I think they go well with everything that's going on. When you're in Tartarus, it really fits. When you're, you know, in the different zones, it fits. And, like, when all the combat's going on, all the different sound effects, all the different things going on in combat, it works well. It comes together to create a good, cohesive combat situation. Then lastly, the music. I love the music in Supergiant games. I think it's always really well done. At least so far, I've been impressed with it. Someday down the line, they may botch it, but so far they have not. And Hades is among those. I think it's got a wonderful soundtrack. There were a few spots where I wish there had been music playing. I don't know why there wasn't. But the music that is there, when it is playing, it is really good. Okay, so let's get into the gameplay mechanics and whatnot, and this is a roguelike. So, if you don't know what that is, that means basically every time you die, you restart from the beginning. Everything is based on these fairly short runs. Nothing really drags on too long. You can get a decent run in every 30 minutes or so if you want. The thing that I love about Hades, and, you know, it's common in roguelikes, is, you know, different weapons, different boosts, different pathways every time. With Hades, you pick your weapon before you go in, once you've unlocked the variety of weapons that there are. You go in, and then you get upgrades from Olympic gods, you can do upgrades to the weapon, you can get health boosts, you can get a variety of boosts to help you continue through your journey. And obviously the goal is to, you know, reach the end of the journey, and there are some bosses along the way. There's a good variety of enemies, and the world itself is kind of an enemy. Well, it is an enemy in Hades, because there's a bunch of booby traps, and the world, the route you're going to take, always changes. The world is always changing. But like I said, when you die, back to the beginning of that. Choose a new weapon, choose the same weapon, you're going to get all new upgrades, you're going to get all new boosts of whatever kind. You know, it could be certain gods that you really like their boosts, you may not get any of them in a run. Certain weapon upgrades you might like, you're not going to get that in a run. Which can get really frustrating, but at the same time, it presents unique and fun challenges. You don't lose necessarily everything every time you die. You do have certain upgrades that you can, you know, give yourself in between runs, and those ones will stay, you know, permanently, basically. Let's get into the controls, and in a roguelike, in a game like this, it has to be tough but fair. And I think they absolutely nail that. The controls work very well, and they're very responsive. I never felt like I died when I shouldn't have. Well, I mean, there were definitely times where I was upset about dying, but I generally felt it was a very fair death. But movement, response to your inputs, I think it works well. Now lastly, the visuals. This game definitely continues with Supergiant's unique art style. It's not the same as something like Bastion. While it is cartoony, the characters are much more normally proportioned, for the most part, except when you get to the gods, because they're all freaking huge for some reason. Not some reason, they're gods. but I like the design of them. I think the way that they are drawn, the way they're painted, because they look all hand painted, hand drawn, I think it works well, and I think it really fits with the theme. It's not necessarily the most unique takes on some of these deities, but it is their own kind of take at the same time. They bring their own life to them. And I like the way they did the underworld. I like the way they did the different zones. I think, really, just to put it simply, from an art standpoint, from a visual standpoint, I think it's a very good looking game. And given that it's a fast-paced action game, it's very smooth. I didn't have any complaints with anything, really. I'd never noticed any frame drop or anything like that, so I was very happy with how it ran. Which is important, obviously, visually. I also like that it's a bright and colorful game, which isn't entirely surprising, being Supergiant and all, but I really did enjoy it, and I think it fits with the kind of storytelling they do, the kind of story they're trying to tell in this game. But I also want to say, like, a lot of the effects in the game, for the different weapons, for the different attacks, for the different traps that you run into, I think it all looks really good. Like, the amount of stuff that can be going on the screen at any given time, and to have it not slow down and to have it look as good as it does, that's a good thing. It's a great thing. It's a wonderful thing. To put it simply, I just love the visuals of this game. I think they did a wonderful job there. So to wrap this up, plain and simple, I had a great time with Hades. It's another wonderful Supergiant game. It really does deserve all the awards it was winning when it first came out. But to put it simply, yes, I recommend it. I think it's a wonderful game. Go pick it up right now. Okay, so in the comments down below, why don't you tell me, after me talking about Bastion, have you gone and played it? And as always, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button. And if you like what I'm doing in general, share and subscribe. Have a good one.